You're listening to Collective Practice, a podcast for mental health entrepreneurs who dare to dream, create, and grow your business. I'm Lauren Spalding, marriage and family therapist and business consultant. I'm on a mission to create abundant success for those in the helping profession who strive to tear down barriers around mental wellness and create healing opportunities for all. Thank you so much for joining me in today's episode. Let's jump right in. Welcome back to the Collective Practice Podcast, a podcast created for mindful entrepreneurs in the mental health field. I'm Lauren Spalding, and today we are talking money. So I wanted to spend some time talking about habits that you can implement in your life so that you can create an abundance versus scarcity mindset with money, regardless of how much money you're currently making. So today I'm going to talk about 5 things that you can be doing that can help you create healthy money habits that can lead you towards your goals as an entrepreneur. So the first habit is to create real and attainable goals. And the way I like to think about this is to take your bigger goal, say you want to open a retreat center in the future, and break down what you would need to do along your way towards that goal financially to make that a reality. So a real attainable goal might be you want to pay off your debts. Maybe you want to start a rainy day fund so that you can continue to pay yourself when you're investing in that retreat center in the future. Maybe you want to start saving for a down payment, what you kind of are predicting or projecting that you'll need to save for that. Or maybe your first real and attainable goal is to manage your money in a better way so that you're allowing for your money to age and grow. So the next habit is to write your goals down. It's really important that you write your goals down in a place that you will always see and that you can always notice how you're working towards that goal. And the idea of writing down your goals is that you're more likely to be very intentional with what you're doing day to day to work towards your goals. You're bringing that goal into the forefront of your mind consistently enough that you can actually create all of the little goals that get you to that bigger dream. I personally write down goals 2 different ways. One way that I do that is with a budgeting app where all of my goals are set and it even breaks down how much I need to put aside per month to reach that goal. So for me, if I think I want to pay off all of my debt by the end of 2021, I then can put that into a budgeting app and have the budgeting app break down, okay, here's your debt, and here's what you would need to pay towards it monthly to reach that goal. Another way that I write down my goals is every year when I start my new bullet journal, I always have a spread that talks about the different goals that I'm setting for the year. So when I'm writing goals in my journal, I find it to be helpful to break down different categories of goals. So I always have a personal goal section and a career goal section. Then I have a health and body goal section and a financial goal section. So instead of just having financial goals like creating a rainy day savings account, paying off debt, things like that, I want to always think, why am I creating this goal? Because that can keep me motivated to stick to my budget throughout the year. So when I see my career goals for the year, I can stay motivated to be mindful of the money I'm making in my business. When I see my personal goals for the year, I can stay motivated when I'm managing my personal budget. And on those days where I'm just so tempted to break the budget or not care about how I spend my money, I'm quickly reminded what my intention is for budgeting and how it's going to get me to those goals that feel really important to me. So that brings me to the third healthy habit to try, which is to create a budget. So I personally like to use the app called You Need a Budget. There's also Mint, which is a free app, and there's many others on the market, and you might have to play around with different ones and see what works for you. I also recommend finding YouTube videos on the different apps and people reviewing them so they can tell you what the pros and cons are, and you can kind of weigh in what feels like the right fit for you. For me, I love how much you can personalize You Need a Budget, and I prefer a budgeting app over an Excel sheet because it's taking out so much work for me. It's automating my goals for me. It's breaking down my money for me. It's showing me trends. For example, with the grocery budget, if I notice each month we're going over, I can look at the section of the grocery budget goal and it will say, on average, you're spending this every month. And so that can help me increase the grocery budget, but not by too much, and being mindful of recognizing what our pattern is, creating and adjusting the goal that way and sticking to it. Another thing that I love about using an automated budgeting app is that it literally takes 2 minutes of your day after you have your budget set up. So there is some time invested into setting it all up, thinking of your different categories, setting all of your goals within the app so that it can tell you every month what to put into that category. But once that's done, it just rolls over your goals into the next month. It rolls over how much you were over or under on budgeting for it, and it notifies you every time a charge comes through. So every time we put in a grocery order, the next day or two, I get a notification on my phone to say, I have a new transaction to put into a category. I open it, I take 2 seconds to put that in the grocery category, and then if I had not proactively budgeted money towards it, then I move money to the grocery category to cover it. But other than that, it takes literally 10 seconds. And I just love that versus having to whip out my laptop every time I want to work on the Excel sheet. And then with the Excel sheet, I have to also like open the bank account, and it's a whole thing. Anyway, regardless of how you choose to budget, whether it's using a budgeting app, creating your own Excel sheet, or finding a pre-made Excel sheet, figure out what works for you and make sure it's something that can help you actually stick to it. Remember, it takes about 30 days plus to create a new habit, so you just have to commit to trying it. Maybe set aside an afternoon where you just really sit down and set up your budget and your budgeting goals, and then just spend, again, 5-10 minutes a day just working on that budget, just applying what you're spending versus what's coming in. And it's just an incredibly helpful and an attainable habit to create so that you have just more mindfulness and intention around your spending. So the fourth healthy habit I recommend is to also have fun goals. So maybe you have credit card debt you want to pay off, or student loan, or you want to get rid of car payments. Those are really great goals to have. But if you don't have fun goals in addition to that, you're easily going to stop budgeting. Our brain just doesn't really work in a way where we can maintain scarcity for a long period of time unless it's needed to survive. So if you have a really low income and you have to, really sacrifice to make your bills, your brain will do that. You will be able to create that survival skill. But if you're making a livable wage and you know that you can pay bills and then some, your brain is naturally going to get out of that survival mode and not think as mindfully about spending. So when you're budgeting, you want to not only create those attainable goals like building your wealth or paying off debts, you also want to throw in some fun goals. So it might be saving up for a trip, or maybe you put a certain amount of money aside every month that can go towards clothing or makeup. Maybe you create a fun house renovation thing that you want to do, like you want to build a deck, and you would put that into your budget as well. I also recommend having just a general fun money amount where you put some money aside in that every month, so that when you do have those impulsive days where you're like, I just want to go out to eat, or my favorite band's coming into town and I want to buy concert tickets, you have money set aside for that that's not affecting your bills. And so you can still be impulsive, but you had been proactively putting money aside for that to be possible without causing stress. And the last healthy money habit I want to talk about today is to have a separate business account. Not only do you need this to start building credit if you want to have any type of business investments or loans in the future, but it's really helpful if you're a contractor to separate the money coming in and have a budget around that before the money ever comes into your personal account. So think about if you were a full-time employee. When you get your paycheck, you see that money was taken out for taxes. You may have money taken out for a 401k, and you have money taken out that goes towards things like benefits and paid time off. So it's really important when you are working for yourself that you're creating that budget on your own. So for me, I have a separate you need a budget account for my business, and I have that split into all of the different categories that you need to be considering when you get that initial revenue into your account. And the idea behind using that separate budget is you put aside a certain amount for taxes, you put aside a certain amount for your pay and expenses, and then you pay yourself out by moving that money from your business account to your personal checking account. So there you go. There are 5 healthy money habits that you can start to implement so that your wealth can grow without your paycheck having to grow. I do want to take a moment to share my resources and lots of different accounts that I like to follow that help me stay on track and stay motivated with my mindful money habits. So Money is a wonderful podcast by Farnoosh Torabi, and she actually was one of the first financial podcasts to come out, and the information she shares is just so helpful, and I love that she is sharing all of that for free through her podcast. The Budgetnista and Clever Girl Finance and Mind Money Balance are some really great Instagram accounts to follow. Clever Girl Finance also recently offered all of their tools on their website for free, which I think is incredible, and you should totally go check out those accounts and see how those can help you with your financial goals. If you would like even more support on how to budget for your business and how to start turning a profit really early on in your business, I encourage you to check out my Money Magic training, which is coming up in December. You can check out the link in my bio on Instagram, or you can go to my website. So my website is laurenspalding.co, and you would find it under the links section. And laurenspalding.co is my Instagram handle. Easy enough. It's all cohesive and wonderful. I so appreciate you spending time with me today, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye. As we wind down from this episode, take a moment to reflect on your key takeaways. How can you care for your business and yourself this week? Don't forget, you are awesome and worthy of a hugely successful career. I hope to help you and support you along the way. I'll see you in the Collective Practice Facebook group and in the masterclass. Visit laurenspalding.co for more details. Talk to you soon, friend.